Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, December 8th, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can still see that the entire Atlantic basin is being dominated by ridges of high pressure. That's responsible for sending all of those easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. We can see that we have a cold front that stretches all the way from northern sections of North Atlantic all the way down into portions of the Dominican Republic. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see all of those low-level patches of clouds moving from east to west in that flow of wind brought about by that high pressure. And we can also see the clouds associated with that cold front that we mentioned, stretching all the way from the northern section of North Atlantic all the way down into portions of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. We will be talking more about the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today. It was stated that we would have received some amount of early morning rainfall across sections of some northern and eastern parishes in Jamaica. Then, some of this rainfall would spill into sections of some central and western parishes. And if you even remember yesterday's video clearly, we mentioned that with that upper level flow coming in from the southwest, more of that afternoon convection would definitely be confined to northern Jamaica more than anything else. And what ended up happening? By the way, for your information, eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey. So Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. Central parishes, we're talking about St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. Western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall. So Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. While when it comes to our northern parishes, we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, and Portland. And what ended up happening? A post was made on our Twitter page. Keep in mind that these posts aren't only made on our Twitter page, but our Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok page at Weather Jamaica. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as there are some other posts that are not made here on YouTube that you'll definitely want to see. So we can see that as early as 4:35 a.m. this morning, Friday, we saw the infrared satellite images showing some grays, some low-level patches of clouds coming in from the east. Some of these clouds making it up to thunderstorm status, cumulonimbus status, that is. So we saw those high cold cloud tops as represented by those blues, greens, not to mention the sparkling white dots that indicate some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. And we definitely had that across sections of St. Thomas and Portland early this morning. And we even had confirmation of this rainfall on our Instagram page from Sapphire Willie Marsh stating raining in Mobay, as we could see that some of these clouds were definitely making their way as far west as Montego Bay, as we can see by those low level patches of clouds in grey. And then another post was made at 8:16 a.m. highlighting the visible satellite images, showing it even clearer. So we know the infrared satellite images were showing the high cold cloud tops being blown off towards the east and northeast, while the low-level patches of clouds are what we see on the visible satellite images. These are the clouds that we're not able to see at night, and we see them better during the daytime. So we see those clouds definitely coming into sections of St. James, just like what the commenter confirmed. Definitely northern coastal areas gotten on some amount of rainfall. St. Mary, St. Antrelani, St. James. That's this morning, 8:16 a.m. Even especially sections of Portland and St. Thomas still gotten on some amount of rainfall. And the thing is, some of this rainfall even made it as far west as Kingston and St. Andrew. I was in Kingston. I definitely got a nice downpour as well, as did some other persons. And we even had confirmation of this rainfall from Tucci 3 XCV stating raining in Kingston. Hot Diva 114 stating overcast in Port More. And we even have confirmation on our Facebook page. Brian Stevenson stating, just a little shower in the constant spring era, little after 10 a.m. Winston Ebanks just had a passing shower in Southfield, St. Elizabeth. Then, as we can see, at 3:05 p.m., another post was made on our Twitter page highlighting the visible satellite images. We see the clouds definitely coming in fast from the east to the west, more so east, southeast to west, northwest. And all of these clouds are starting to pile up across sections of some northern and western parishes during the afternoon. And we saw by those sparkling yellow dots on this visible satellite imagery some lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. So this does indeed confirm the rainfall that was expected for western and central Jamaica, especially northern Jamaica. And we even have confirmation by Rayon stating heavy rain in Hanover. Then finally another post was made at 4:25 p.m. highlighting the infrared satellite images showing those very high cold cloud tops across sections of Hanover and Westmoreland. So definitely some thunderstorm activity, especially considering those sparkling white dots taking shape over the area. And this does indeed paint a picture, the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, that we had that flow, that easterly flow across the island, then those clouds building up into cumulonimbus clouds across western Jamaica as usual with that daytime heating, then the high cold cloud tops being blown off towards the east. And these are the latest infrared satellite images. So we can still see that it is very much, overcast across sections of northwestern Jamaica, but they won't even be noticing that because it's the nighttime. And we still have some amount of sparkling white dots still offshore the western coastline, and the Cuban Doppler radar images are confirming the rainfall that they're experiencing across those areas. So we can see those greens, those yellows right there of the coast of Hanover, sections of St. Anne. We can also see some rainfall right there between Haiti and Jamaica to the northeast of Portland. Who knows, some of this rainfall could make it into sections of northern Jamaica later on tonight. Taking a look at what we got in terms of the rainfall across the island for today, all courtesy of the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology. This is the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours. And it does indeed paint a picture of where we got that rainfall for today. Eastern and especially northern and western parishes in Jamaica got the brunt of the rainfall. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about, let's say, 3 a.m. on Saturday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see Jamaica embedded in some yellows and some slight oranges that represent 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. This map is valid for 18th on Saturday. 18th when we calculate that, that's about 1 p.m. on Saturday. So 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures is what's expected. And one of the normal temperatures for the month of December across Jamaica are about 87 degrees Fahrenheit. When we take a look at the thermometer, 87 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 30 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30 to 32 degrees Celsius for Jamaica's temperatures on Saturday. Taking a look at the dry air map, we can see that by the key on the bottom, the dry air is represented by the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. And we do see that we have a lot of dry air across the Atlantic Basin, even some dry air across the Jamaica area. Even although we've been getting some amount of isolated showers, we still have some amount of dry air surrounding the island, as we can see by those yellow and orange colors. As relates to the Saharan dust forecast, this map is showing 2 p.m. on a Saturday, December 9, and we do see the slight browns that represent some Saharan dust across the southern Caribbean, the ABC Islands, sections of the Windward Islands to the north of Trinidad and Tobago, sections of Grenada, St. Vincent. But we can see that majority of the dust associated with the Sahara Desert is across portions of the eastern main development region and Africa. Taking a look at the wave forecast maps, we can see that by the key at the bottom, the waves are represented by, well, the wave heights are represented by the blues that surround the island. So lighter shades of blues are representative of zero point 0.5 for meter wave height. The darker shades of blues are representative of 1 to close to 2 meter wave heights. And the purples to burgundy colors represent 2 meter wave heights or more. We see some amount of contrast taking place on the wave forecast. This map is valid for 12 p.m. on a Saturday. We can see that the Euro has the blues, especially across northern and western Jamaica. The GFS, something similar, but look at this. We see more in the way of some purples off the east and the south coast of Jamaica. So it could be that they're going to be getting in on some 2 meter wave height or more. And this is all courtesy of the winds that are being forecasted. If we even zoom out just a little bit, we can see the difference in the wind. The Euro has more of those stronger winds closer to the Jamaica southern coastline with those yellows that represent 25 knot winds, and the GFS, more of those winds are far farther out. But for the most part, we can see the winds represented by the key on the bottom right, 5 to 10 knots represented by the blues, and we can see some of that across portions of Jamaica, eastern Jamaica especially. The greens representing 15 to 20 knots right there, and we can see some of that across northern Jamaica for tomorrow. And we can see the flow coming in for the most part out of the east northeast across the island for Saturday. The Euro showing more in the way of easterly flow, GFS showing more in the way of east northeasterly flow. We shall see what map wins either way. If we look closer, we can see that the air is going to be piling up across inland areas of some central parishes and especially western parishes. So that's where we have the darker shades of blues. All of that low level flow is going to be, formulating some cumulus clouds that are going to be possibly transforming themselves into cumulonimbus clouds. It's quite interesting that we're, you know, here almost wrapping up the thunderstorm season and we're still getting some amount of thunderstorm just to show you how warm the waters are. So things are a bit still ripe in the Caribbean as we speak. Either way, you can see the upper level flow coming in from the west for tomorrow. So the upper level clouds, if they form, aren't going to be favoring northern or southern Jamaica. More in the way of some inland areas. So both areas can get some amount of afternoon rainfall for tomorrow, both northern and southern coastal areas. And as relates to the rainfall forecast now, we can see that as of right now, the maps are in consensus. The Euro and the GFS are showing the blues that represent rainfall across northern Jamaica. This is valid for 7 p.m. on a Friday, and it does indeed match out with what we're seeing on the satellite images with all of these clouds, as well as the Cuban Doppler images with all of these greens and yellows that represent moderate to heavy rainfall. So the models are already confirming what is predicted. Taking a look at the rainfall forecast now, this is valid for 2 a.m. sorry, on Saturday, and look what we see. Blues that represent rainfall across the very same spots. So it could be that rain band that we just mentioned in between Haiti and northeastern Jamaica. Some of this could definitely spill into sections of northern Jamaica later on tonight. So it's definitely going to be a wet night across Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, maybe section of Trelawney and St. James as well. Skipping ahead to about 6 a.m., still seeing much of the same, starting to incorporate some portion of eastern Jamaica in there. So definitely a section of St. Thomas. Skipping ahead to about 11 a.m. now. Look at what we see. Blues that represent rainfall across maybe eastern and central Jamaica on the Euro model. GFS still biased with northern Jamaica. So St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. We'll see exactly what unfolds with that. Either way, we can see that both maps are in consensus with what's being forecasted for 3 p.m. on Saturday. Definitely a section of some central and especially western portions where we see those darker shades of blues. That's where we're going to be experiencing that afternoon rainfall. And we can see the accumulated precipitation forecast. They're both in consensus that northern Jamaica will be receiving the most rainfall for tomorrow. So Euro showing up to 0.19 or even zero point 0.2 of an inch of rainfall. GFS showing up to zero point 0.4 of an inch of rainfall, and that's confined to northeastern Jamaica. And we're indeed grateful that we're going to be receiving rainfall. We're in the month of December. This is the first month of our dry season across Jamaica. We usually receive up to 122.45 millimeters of rainfall as of the records from 1996 to 2015. So we'll take all the rainfall that we can get before we get into the peak of the dry season in February. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see those low level patches of clouds moving from east to west, and within those clouds, there's definitely some amount of rainfall. We still have the clouds associated with that trough, still affecting portion of the eastern Caribbean as we speak, with some amount of clouds, showers, and thunderstorms. Sections of northeastern South America definitely getting in on that heavy weather. So French Guiana, Suriname, Guyana, section of Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, sections of Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dominica, Martinique, Guadeloupe, St. Lucia, sections of the northeastern Caribbean, including Antigua and Barbuda, maybe sections of the ABC Islands getting in on some of that as well. We can definitely see those clouds coming into sections of Costa Rica, southern Nicaragua, sections of Honduras, Guatemala, Belize, especially getting into some of that rainfall as well. We can also see the clouds associated with that cold front, bringing some amount of rainfall to the northern sections of the Dominican Republic, sections of Haiti as well, eastern Cuba as well. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, we can see where we have that rainfall right now. This Doppler radar image is valid for 7 p.m. and we do see that rainfall. It's 7:10 p.m. right now. We do see that rainfall currently taking place across sections of the U.S. Virgin Islands right there, sections of St. Kitts, sections of Antigua and Barbuda, even sections of Montserrat are getting in on some of that. Taking a look at the Barbados radar, we can see that rainfall definitely taking place across sections of Martinique, St. Lucia, sections of St. Vincent, not so much the Grenadine Islands right now, but that could change later on tonight. Sections of Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago definitely still getting on some amount of rainfall. Definitely some amount of isolated flash flooding is taking place as we speak. If we can recall, the rain has been, affecting the areas for the past couple of days, all courtesy of this drop, and it's expected to continue this weekend. And we can see by the wider view of Doppler radar images, this does indeed confirm the rainfall that we just mentioned on the satellite images across sections of Belize, sections of the coastal areas of Honduras, and sections of Guatemala. As we can see by the temperature forecast, this map is showing 18 on Saturday. When we calculate that, that's 1 p.m. on Saturday. We do see that for the most part, majority of the Eastern Caribbean should be receiving normal, if not slightly above normal temperatures, as represented by those grays, yellows, and oranges. Majority of the Central and Western Caribbean, more in the way of yellows and oranges, so definitely some amount of above normal temperatures is what is being expected. As it relates to the Saharan dust forecast, we can see that majority of the Caribbean is in the clear, only some slight brown shades that represent some Saharan dust across sections of maybe the Grenadine Islands, St. Vincent, Grenada, sections of the ABC Islands as well. But we can breathe a sigh of relief as majority of the dust associated with the Sahara Desert is not so vigorous at this time, and majority of it is confined to section of the eastern main development region and Africa. Taking a look at the wave forecast, we can see more in the way of purples across the Caribbean that represent 2 meter wave heights or more. And we can see that's because the winds are definitely going to be strong across the Caribbean, averaging anywhere from 20 to 25 knots coming in from the east, as we can see by those yellows and greens. Definitely the yellows. So some of this could even spill and gust into 30 knot range. As we can see by the rainfall forecast, both of these maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on a Saturday. We're not saying that it's going to be raining from now all the way up until then, but within that time period, these are the spots that are going to be accumulating the rainfall. And the more colorful this map gets, the more rainfall that's expected. So we can see the grays, the greens, yellows, oranges, reds that represent up to an inch of rainfall. So anywhere that's getting some amount of reds, that's where the inch of rainfall comes in. And we're looking for consensus with what both the Euro and the GFS models are showing. So we can see definitely sections of Guadeloupe, Dominica, sections of Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, Costa Rica, sections of Nicaragua are definitely going to be getting up to an inch of rainfall. Other areas could get in on some isolated on and off showers as represented by those greens and yellows. So definitely sections of the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, eastern Guatemala, northern and eastern Honduras, sections of Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, sections of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, maybe a section of southern Puerto Rico, and northern Hispaniola, and the eastern Cuba. Definitely still to get some amount of rainfall. We could see some of this rainfall even spill into sections of the Cayman Islands, but as you can see, majority of the Bahamas and Florida should be in the clear for the most part. I know that when both maps from the EU and the GFS are showing something similar like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.